This is your place for all things Grand Rapids Griffins and all things Toledo Walleye. This is the Hockeytown West podcast with your host, Brandon Cook and Nick Harrington.
Welcome back to the Hockeytown West podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brandon.
And I'm Nick.
And we've got a fun one here for everybody. So if you're jumping to this, you know the title already. This is the episode that'll feature the one and only Amadeus Lombardi as our first player interview as a podcast. And we'll get to that more later here. But we realize that that's going to bring some new listeners, I think. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, we interviewed another player before. Tyler Kuehl, he was a player.
Okay, sorry, I should say Griffins player. But yeah, no, Amadeus on this one. It was a fun one. But we realized it'll bring some new faces here. So we're going to kind of tell you who we are here, why we exist. So we cover specifically the Grand Rapids Griffins and the Toledo Walleye, you know, the farm teams of the Detroit Red Wings. Because last year we came together. We were season ticket holders. We were going to all the games. And it was a rough season last year for anyone that remembers. And we're like, you know what? We talk about this enough together and complain and whine about it. Let's put a microphone in front of us and see what happens here. And we've done that. We are a year into this now, and this has become something we never thought it would be.
Yeah, this has taken off so crazy. I mean, I had a feeling in the summer that, you know, we need to get a kind of a plan together and like continue to grow. And we've gotten there faster than I thought. So it's crazy. It's a remarkable, and you know, thank you for everybody that continues to listen in every week. And we do about two episodes a week, and Patreon as well. So you guys' continued support and growth has helped us, you know, continue to grow as well as podcasters. So because neither of us have been on radio before, and we definitely don't have the faces for video. So
And we still do video on YouTube. It's crazy. Yeah, everything we've done is self-taught. We're not music people. We're not radio people. We don't know what we're doing. We just come here to talk hockey and have a good time. And like Nick said, thank you to everyone who has supported us, and welcome to the new faces listening to this episode here, and hopefully more in the future. This is a fun one, though. We had a crazy weekend of hockey we're going to talk about, and then we'll get to the Amadeus interview, and that'll be pretty much it for this Monday episode. But let's talk Griffins hockey this weekend. Manitoba Moose in town for back-to-back games Friday and Saturday. And they were just as wild as I think we anticipated based off how our road trip to Manitoba went last time, where the Griffins needed 3-goal comebacks in each game to win them. We saw a total combined between the two games, 16 rounds of shootouts this weekend. This was insane.
it was crazy. It's really funny because Friday we sat down and I looked at you and I said, you know, I haven't been to an overtime game home yet. I don't think we've had many. And you're like, there's been one. I'm like, oh yeah, the puck incident. And I wasn't there for that one. And we're sitting through this period, 3 periods of hockey. And I'm like, I think we need 4 goals to win this, Brandon. And you're like, stop. And we definitely needed 4 goals to win this game.
Yeah, so if anyone was stressed watching those games this weekend, it is 100% Nick's fault. He jinxed every single thing that happened this weekend almost to a T. So let's dive into it. Friday night in front of a crowd of 9,500 at Van Andel. It was rocking. You were there with me, and this game was all over the place. The Griffins came out, dominated this game to start with. 3-0 lead 40 seconds into the third there. Or sorry, 40 seconds into the third. And then Manitoba had a really quick comeback, which we've seen, you know, some other teams do against this team. And then it was solid, but then the Griffins ended up winning this one in a 10-round shootout. This was one of the wildest games I could think of to memory at this point, just because of how back and forth it was. But let's talk overall here. So let's start with a guy who was a real standout in this one, and I think a guy that's gaining a lot of attention in his play lately, not just from us and other media, it's from the coaching staff too. The post-game interviews mentioned how much better this individual's been playing lately. That's Elmer Soderblom. He's playing probably his best hockey as a Griffin right now.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, this whole weekend, we have mentioned it off air, but I mean, his puck possession has been fantastic this last this over the weekend. He's been able to keep the puck away and keep the possession in the O-zone. I mean, it's led to some chances, and hopefully, I mean, it's just getting better, you know. Yeah, I still wanna compare him to that Michael Rasmussen from a couple years ago when, just kinda the big body, trying to learn, play good hockey. That was his New Year's resolution, and I think that's kinda what we've seen with Elmer the second half of this season.
Yeah, I mean, we used to joke, Bambi on skates for the first half of the season is what one of our friendly writers had called him at some point, and we kind of ran with that too because that's what it looked like. And Christmas break happened, and suddenly after that, he looks confident. He looks strong on the puck. He's skating really, really well, and just making really good business decisions with the puck when it's on his stick. Like he's not putting himself in situations where before you're like, oh, he gave it away. Oh, he gave it away. Oh, it's a turnover. No, like he's playing smart hockey, and we're seeing him now in the offensive zone, just kind of owning it. One place I'd like to see him get closer to is the front of the net, but
Yeah.
that's usually the center's role, and he's not a center. But I would like to see him spend more time screening the goalie up there because, as Kosa alluded to in an interview, one of the toughest guys to play against in practice is Elmer, with how just much of a giant human being he is. But he had a fantastic Friday. He had an assist in that game, played really well, missed his shootout opportunity. He got the first go in the shootout. He did miss. He tried a fancy move and it didn't end up playing out well. But again, just playing really, really good hockey. And that correlates right to the next guy who also is playing really good hockey right now, Mr. Tim Gettinger. He had himself a Friday night. Oh my God.
The pride of Cleveland right here, Tim Gettinger.
He had the first goal of the game. It was his 10th of the season, assisted by Vollander and Dominic Shine. And then Tim Gettinger ended up getting the shootout winner, which was a nice little move by him. I didn't know he had that in him. But just, we talked. We want the rookies to contribute, and we want the veterans to contribute more and more. And dude, he's one of the veterans that we need to contribute, and he's been playing extremely well.
Yeah, he was on a hot streak the beginning of the season, so we're like, "Where did this guy come from?" Like, where it's not somebody that was on the radar of, coming in and doing so well so fast, and then he kinda went on a cold streak, hasn't put the puck in the net in a while, and then big weekend Friday, putting the first one on the board. He's tall, he's lengthy, he's got some speed when he can use it, so I don't know if he had the All-Star break, was able to kinda recoup and recover from maybe a small nagging injury or anything like that, or just having the break to reset definitely helped him coming back out for the weekend. So, yeah, good Tim Gettinger, and I don't know if you listened to the interview after
Yeah.
the game, and they're like, "Why did you go last?" And he's like, "I don't think the coaches knew kind of like what I had." He
I
goes, "I
didn't
don't
know
know
what he
if I
had.
knew." Yeah, I don't know if he
Yeah.
knew what he had. So
Yeah. There was three guys that scored in that shootout there. Gettinger was one of them. Our boy Amadeus was another one. His shootout goal was unreal. He doesn't think it was anything special, but oh my God, that move, just unreal. He was able to bury it right behind Milic there. And then the other guy, though, Jonathan Berggren, dude. Shootout cheat code at this point, in my opinion. He's ridiculous.
yeah, his shootout attempt was sick. I thought he played a really good game this whole weekend. Like both games, he played very, very well, and I think his trade value is really up. What Rowan would say,
No.
but
You know what? I used to be like, yeah, that might be a possibility. And with the confidence and swagger he's playing right now, if that translates to the NHL, when he goes back to Detroit at some point, he's gonna be a different player than what he was in Detroit at the beginning of the season and for the chunk of last season. If he can carry that forward and have that same swagger about himself, he's going to be a dominant NHL player. We can't let that go, I don't think, anymore. And I hope
no.
that management has seen that as well. Like you said, what he's been doing lately and what he did this weekend, just absolutely insane. Which there's a play we'll get to when we talk about Saturday's game that he made in overtime that it
Yeah.
just blew my mind. But another guy, I think we talk about him often on here, but he gets buried in the shadow of defensemen that are on this team. Antti Tuomisto.
Yeah.
He He's been paired up with Simon Edmondson, playing the first pairing minutes almost since he's been back from injury, essentially. And he really feels like he's found himself in the AHL. He understands how to play. He's not putting himself in bad position. He's making really smart defensive plays with the puck. And sometimes it feels like he's bailing Simon out almost. Simon will get in too deep and tries to be the offensive defenseman that he is. And Tuomisto's just being the stay at home defenseman, playing really well. Always looks concerned, but is playing really, really good hockey right now. I mean, +2 in that game doesn't have any offensive stats to show, but on the defensive side of the puck to be the standout, him and Edmondson both +2 in that game. They were the highest plus on the team. It's got to be noted that he's just playing some really, really good hockey right now.
Yeah, and I like the idea of having 2 in the first there, and then you can move Albert, who is a first line defenseman. Like he anchored that spot with Simon almost well half the season already, and then a good portion of last year. So being able to move a top defenseman down to the second line, I mean, that just gives Waddy that much more like confidence of being able to say, hey, we can roll any forwards out there with them. We know the team's gonna be responsibly defensively in our own end or in our own end with Albert. So and it gives who's I forget the who he's paired up with on
Oh, Rafferty.
Friday. Rafferty, who's more
Yep.
of an offensive guy. So I mean that's helped uh a lot. I mean on the offensive side too.
Yeah, I mean, and what we've heard more recently is more prospects have been doing interviews lately. They've been kind of getting out of their shell and talking more. And they all have named Albert Johansson as probably the most underrated defenseman in the entire AHL. And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've been saying that all season long. And it's true, man. He's just an incredible, incredible hockey player. But you mentioned lines. There's a line we got to talk about that we saw debut Friday night, and it's something that we've been begging for, and that is the line of Carter Mazer, Marco Casper, and Jonathan Berggren all on the same line together. Holy smokes. How much fun was that?
That was so like it was such a good line. That line was buzzing. It feels like Mazer really has been bringing any line you put Mazer on, it's been just humming. Like, and for a while, I think it was like him, Sarnik, and Bergie, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, that
then
was him, Zarnik, Berge. Yep.
that line started like sparking right away. They had good chemistry. And then you move him down to Cat with Casper in the center, and Casper had a remarkable goal. Like I'm surprised you haven't brought that up yet, but they in between the
Getting there.
legs, in between the legs and scoring that goal, like that was nuts. And it only took him one try. Sorry, Elmer. but, but like that and Marco's really grown and he's gotten so much better. He's gotten so much better this season as the season progresses. He's playing very well. He's getting points on the board. He's rising up the lineup. I mean, I think he's gonna have a big second half, especially with the chemistry of these two wingers helping him really carry him up.
I mean, in reality, this is the potential third line in Detroit at some point in time. Like, and if that's the case, we've only seen them now 2 games together. But oh my god, has it been fun for everybody involved? And like you said, yep, I was going to get to it. The Marco Casper goal. Oh my god, to pull that between the legs move off there to give the Griffins a 3-0 lead, like that goal, it was so crucial in the game. And he just did it with so much confidence and poise in front of the net. Like I didn't see it coming. It was right in front of us. And I thought I saw it in real time, and I had to pull up the replay on my phone immediately to go, did he really do that? And he did. And oh man, you could tell in the celly, he couldn't believe it. Edvinsson couldn't believe it. The look on his face was pure shock. It was, man, that was fun. And then seeing that line, I mean, that line came together for that goal. You had Casper with the goal, Berggren and Mazer with the assist. Like first game together on a line, do something like that. We knew we were in for a treat.
It might be
So
goal of the year, to be honest. Like for the Griffins.
it's easily the Griffins' goal of the year so far, 100%, 100%. But overall in that game, I thought the team played a really good team game. Yes, it got put to a shootout. Yes, Manitoba's the bottom team in the division. But here's the thing about being the bottom team in the division. You're desperate. You're going to do everything you possibly can. And we're probably getting the peak best play out of those players going into this game. And it showed. Like there's some really, really talented individuals on that team. I mean, Brad Lambert himself, he's an unreal hockey player. And then, their goaltender, someone we talked about earlier this season when we did their preview, he spent some time in the ECHL, was an ECHL All-Star. And look at him here now. He's Thomas Milic. He's just playing incredible hockey. He's super aggressive. He's a smaller goaltender compared to other goaltenders in the league right now, but he plays like he's the size of Kosa. He's super aggressive, takes the angles away, and is honestly a really fun goaltender to watch. I just wish he wasn't playing against us. But Overall, man, it was a good game. I think Hutch had a decent game. There was that little stretch there, but no one on the team faulted Hutch for that. I think it was a bad 4 to 5 minutes of hockey for the whole team where Manitoba scored, their 3 goals to tie the game within about a 4-minute stretch in the third
Yeah.
period. It wasn't ugly bit, but that was that was on the whole team, not just Hutch. I know when we watched him play Belleville in his last game, he looked shaky. I thought he looked a lot more sound in this game,
I
which
did
was a
too.
positive. And they didn't pull him. They kept him in, which I thought was really important, and he was really sound the rest of the game. That 3-minute stretch or 4-minute stretch happened really early in the third. It was in the 3 minutes and 5-minute mark of the third period. So for him to be able to be sound in that, sound in overtime, and in the shootout as well, I mean, I can't complain about his performance in this game.
Yeah, I thought he came out, he had some little flair to him, in the pregame warm-up, and, I mean, letting the 3 goals in, I don't think they were all really on him. Then they went to drop the puck, and Waddy called the timeout, and I was like, "Thank God, like, get this team settled down, I think that was a big momentum change too, and it was a good time to call it. I mean, we were calling for it where we were sitting, and I was like, "You have to call the timeout at this point, like, reset the guys, let's get this going again." So yeah, I thought Hutch played well. It was his first shootout of the year, so I wasn't sure how he was gonna be in that because the last one Costa took, and but yeah, I thought he played well, tracking the puck well.
Man, Manitoba sent their shooters out in that shootout too. Lambert, Reichel, Chipperkoff, Capabianco, like they were all in there. And I mean, Chipperkoff and Heinola are the only 2 guys that got past him. He stopped everybody else. So it was impressive for him. And he did have a little bit of a swagger and flair that night. I noticed it in warmups for Saturday too. He did one of the somersault saves on somebody in warmups. I was like, what is going on over there? So you can tell overall as a team, man, the boys are feeling it. They're feeling really good right now, and as they should. They've been playing some incredible hockey, and this game put them at a 7-game win streak, and I can't remember the last time that's happened.
No, I mean, it's crazy, it's good, like, it was loud Friday night too, like, it was
Oh,
packed. My watch went off. I looked at the notifications the next day, and I had, like, 9 notifications that it was too loud in the arena, and I was like, "This hasn't happened in Van Andel in a long time," like, where I've been getting notifications that it's too loud. So, crowd was in it. The one thing I do wanna mention about Hutch is, like, he took a penalty, which I was not happy about, but what?
soft call. That was stupid.
Yeah. But he was laughing about it. The guy comes around he comes around the boards and Hutch gives him just a little tap and the guy falls over and Hutch was laughing about it with the official. The official was laughing too. I was able to get a little bit of it, but yeah, and I was like, dude, you got to step up. Like it was a soft call, but you can't be taking the risk. I mean, I hate when our goalies are behind the net right now because it has
Well, he
not turned
wasn't
out
behind the net. He was in the crease still when he did that, and he stuck his blocker out in the guy's chest a little bit, and they called that a trip. But the guy was
yeah.
crashing the net. Like, I think he played the play right. I think the ref was soft on that. Just like we saw Johansson get called for roughing near the end of the game there when he threw a
Yeah.
guy into the boards. But you pointed out, and I watched the replay back, when Johansson throws this guy into the boards, there's a fan standing there who legit throws his whole body into the boards as the Manitoba player hits it. So not only did the guy get Johansson throwing him from one side, he had a full-size fan, a full-size human being throwing his weight into the glass, and he was in the middle of that, and he fell right to the ice. I called it. He said he had a good acting school included in his contract, but I think there
It
was
was a
something there. I think that fan might have had a little bit of an impact on that hit.
Yeah, he was a big guy. There was like 2 or 3 big guys down there, and I saw him, like, literally go up to the glass at the same time and hit it. So, and the Manitoba guy literally kind of bounced off the glass, when Albert hit him. So, I mean, it looked worse than what it looked worse than probably what it was.
Yeah, I mean that glass is designed to give way when those guys get hit. So for another object on the other side to keep the glass from giving way, I'm sure that hit hurt because it was full speed.
Yeah,
It wasn't boarding. It wasn't anything like that. How it
they
got called
timed
a
it good.
rough, I don't know. And if it was a little scrum afterwards that resulted in the roughing, again, soft because Albert didn't do much. He just stood there like he does. That's what he does. He doesn't throw punches. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
the rest
That's just
refs
me
were not
complaining about
great
the refs
Friday.
again.
Yeah, they were not
They
great
were
Friday at
not,
all.
and I think they were not great Saturday. It's funny too because there's just one referee that carried forward from Friday to Saturday, and we all heard his name in that section that we were sitting in. One
Adam.
fan liked to point out that his name was Adam and that he sucked. And that carried forward into Saturday, just so you're very well aware. So maybe Adam had something against us. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, let's hop into Saturday here because this one was kind of a heartbreaker. You know, it gets forced to a shootout again, a 6-round shootout. My heart can't take this, boys. Like, we can't do this. I can't have the Lions being the cardiac cats. The Red Wings doing what they're doing right now with their crazy comebacks and all this, and us doing these shootouts like this. I can't handle that. But again, another really solid team game from the boys in front of 9,600 fans. Another great loud crowd. It was Princess Night, so the kids were in full force too. Oh my God, were they? Bob and Larry had a couple in front of them in the broadcast booth that if you watched the game at home, you could clearly hear those kids for about the whole darn game.
I could hear them. I gave up my ticket for you because I know this was a special night for you, be able to go to Princess Night. So,
Jokes
yeah, I mean,
carry forward every year.
it was loud. Bob and Larry were. I could hear it through the broadcast. I was like, man, I feel bad for Brandon tonight.
It was, yeah. You said your watch went off about 6 times Friday. Mine had 12 notifications from Saturday alone. But the first period, man, they come out and the Griffins outshoot Manitoba 17-6 in this first period. Insane. And we talked in depth, in our midseason recap on Thursday. We're like, there's one guy who probably is, we don't know if he'll improve or not. It wasn't us talking smack. It's just kind of looking at the statistics and kind of thinking what we should see happen with them. And it was Cross Hannes. We haven't seen much from him this season. We've seen a lot of healthy scratches. Guy comes out 5 minutes in, he gets the first goal.
Yeah.
He was scratched Friday night, but he comes out on Saturday, first goal of the game, assisted by Edmondson and Lombardi. Like, it was a little tap in, cleaning up the mess in front of the net there because Simon wired a shot from the blue line off the crossbar. It was a beautiful shot, but Cross was there in the right place, right time, playing his position, and tapped it in. And man, the sense of relief on his face and the excitement when he got that one in. He needed that so badly. I felt so good for him on that. And honestly, overall, he played a sound game after that too. He looked a lot better than what we've seen recently. He had some pep in his step. Maybe it was being scratched on Friday night. I don't know. He had an extra day, to come back. But remember, he hasn't played in 13 days, and he came out and his wheels were moving. So it was good to see.
I was looking at his stats for the season. He's like almost on pace. He's played twice the amount of games this year, I think.
Yeah.
And he's not pacing well at all. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully this is the thing that gets him going and he starts improving and we start seeing some more goals. When I heard that hit the post, I was like, of course it was Cross, but Simon shot it and then Cross cleaned it up. So right place, right time. Hopefully this is the continued thing.
Yeah, and then this game turned into a really back and forth game, though. I mean, that was early in the game. 13 minutes in, Manitoba ties the game. 17 minutes in, though, Jonathan Berggren, 14th goal of the season, assisted by his new line mate, Marco Kasper, and the journeyman Brogan Rafferty getting an assist in there as he should. There's a great time and place for Berggren. Buries a rebound, and the celly was just elite. This kid, we talked earlier in the season, he looked unhappy. He wasn't celebrating his goals. And now I feel like, okay, is he over celebrating? Like, is he going too much? Is this other team going to come around and try to clobber him like they did against Belleville? But man, he is just having so much fun on the ice right now. Like you said, playing incredible hockey. And the Kasper Berge Mazer line strikes again. Like it was good. And we saw that line get into it a couple times with people. There was a scrum in front of Milic there that, Kasper's getting pinned up against the boards face first by 2 Manitoba guys. And there's a Griffins fan in the front row saying something to him. And you see Kasper look down at him with a big smile on his face. He's like, yeah. Like, you could tell those boys are having fun together. Unfortunately, Mazer ended up taking a roughing penalty in that one. I think the ref was just trying to gain control of the game. It was coincidental minor, so nothing really happened there. But this line, man, it's going to be fun.
That Berge goal wouldn't have happened without Marco Kasper. Like, he literally gets cleared out of the crease area and opens up this huge hole for Berge to shoot. Like, I just remember clipping it, and all you see is Kasper literally flying out of the area.
Yeah.
So hopefully some size does him well over the offseason.
Honestly, for real, though, but like, we've talked about Marco Kasper a lot lately as he's really one that's been turning it on and he's finally getting the attention we think he deserves as a prospect. But his aggression, like the kid has no fear. He's smaller than a lot of these guys he's playing against, but he does not care. He's going to get in your face. He's going to shove you around. He's going to make your life difficult if you're a defender, especially right in front of the net. He plays the center position extremely well. We just know with size will come the face-offs as well, as that is a little bit of a negative point for him, at least from our observation. There's no face-off stats tracked in the AHL, at least publicly. So thanks again for that, AHL. But speaking of face-offs, I noticed something between Friday and Saturday that I've got to point out. And I
What?
meant to ask this to Amadeus, but Austin Zarnik might be the best center I've ever seen in my life. The guy loses like one or two face-offs a game. He's insane. And watching him on the power play, if we're in the defensive or the offensive zone, he's just winning, constantly setting things up. And it's important why I say that, because he ends up getting the Griffins' third goal in this game, and it was on the power play. Started from a face-off win by himself, a couple passes back and forth between him, Mazur, and Edmondson. Edmondson gives it to him, and he wires it home. And just seeing Zarnik's face-offs really played a key role in this weekend, and I think that goes unrecognized because we've said it before, and I'll say it again. Austin Zarnik is the most unappreciated member of this organization with how well he can play up in Detroit or down in Grand Rapids.
It's funny you say that because I literally said this the other night too. Is like you have your top prospects, Marco Casper, you've got Berggren, you've get Simon Edmondson, you get Kosa, and like Sarnik falls into this weird spot. Like he's really good for the AHL and he's like a fringe NHL player, but it's like where do you fit him? I mean, I'm super glad to have him on the team. But I think it goes unnoticed because it's untracked. It's not something that's publicly like available for us either, is the face-offs. I mean, it's something that you've been paying more attention to because it's something we can't grab right away. So you have to pay attention to it a little bit more. But I mean, Sarnik, I I hope I want to see him in the NHL. I want to see him in the NHL more. I don't know what spot he has, but I think he does belong there.
I think you say that though, and I think that would involve us losing him. I think,
Yeah.
and I don't want that. I think he honestly is in the perfect position possible for what he can bring to the table. He plays an extremely important role here in Grand Rapids. He's one of the top offensive players. He's on the first line. He's a first line center. He, he's crucial on the power play for us. But if God forbid something happens in Detroit, it's not like a fear of like, oh my God, who are they going to call up? Who are we going to be stuck with? Like, what's going to happen here? It's nope. Zarnik can go up there and he can play that fourth line center role up there perfectly. And he was one of the best acquisitions that this organization I think has made when you're talking about depth pieces to be able to move up and down the lineup. Um, there's other guys on this team now that can also fit that role that haven't gotten their shot yet. One of them is driven back and forth quite a bit, but he hasn't gotten an actual shot to play. But I feel like it'd be the same thing with Rafferty. If he had to step in and play, he's not going to miss a beat. He's going to be able to go in there and deliver just like Zarnik does. We've seen Luff do it. Like, these are guys that don't get talked about. They're all in the shadow of the prospect. Everyone wants to talk about the Berggrens, the Caspers, the Edmondsons, but these guys deserve the appreciation. Like another guy I want to bring up, he didn't produce points this weekend, but at the same time, he was a real driver in what I thought was the aggression from this team this weekend, and that's Josiah Didier. Being the captain he is, and he's just shown himself more and more lately as that leader on the ice, being able to make the tough, rough and tough plays, throwing the body around. But also, you can really see a lot of time that he's spending talking to these younger players, putting them in the right position, giving them some advice here and there. I think he's such an underrated captain because he came in and everyone was like, "Who is this guy? Now he's the captain? What the heck?" And at first,
Yeah.
we were like, nervous as he was trying to gel with everybody too. The production wasn't really there, but man, over since the Christmas break, I think he's played some incredibly good hockey, and the leadership that he's bringing to this team can't go unnoticed. Like, everybody talks about it when you talk to him. He's a true leader, and clearly, I think the right decision was made there for who captains this team. And when the playoffs come around, I think he's going to play a really crucial role.
Yeah, I mean, longer that this team continues to play together, the more you see them gelling and getting comfortable with each other. And I mean, when we go to the ammo interview, I mean, he points them out. Like, Didier's been key in his development, and a lot of these veteran guys. So I mean, it's we're kind of wondering, like, we got the veterans, they're supposed to step up, and like the rookies and the draft picks and prospects are coming along too, and like now it's really forming, and it goes a long way with Josiah, of putting everybody out there and being a good captain. You see him stand up for everybody. As soon as somebody's down, like he's there right there in the scrum, ready to go. So, and I appreciate that. It's just as a fan. So,
And, we talk about, wanting the production from the veterans, wanting the production from the kids and everything like that. You just look at the score sheets over these last few games, and you just talk about this weekend's games. You have goals by Gettinger, you have goals by Zarnik, but you also have goals by Casper and Berggren and Cross-Hannes. Like, it's spreading out finally. It's not just goals coming from one person. It's not just points coming from Hiroshi, Berggren, Evanson. Like, everybody's playing, everybody's contributing, and it's really special to see. Like, the more I watch this team and the more we see like the locker room videos getting shown after a win and everything, you just look at this group and you're like, yeah, there's something special about these guys. I can't put my finger on it, but there is something very special about this group. The Griffins, like we said, dropped this one in the shootout, unfortunately, on Saturday. No one for the Griffins scored out of the 6 rounds in the shootout. Milic played incredible in the shootout. He was very aggressive. He came out and challenged everybody that he came up against. Kosa, I thought, did really well in the shootout. He only let the one goal by, which was unfortunately the one that won the game for Manitoba. But in this game, yes, Kosa 3 goals against, but he had a little bit of an issue in this game, and it wasn't on him. He was screened a little bit by a Simon Edvinsson. And there was a point where this happened for the second time in the game, and we noticed during the break and play, or I noticed, I sent you the picture, Edvinsson and Kos had a conversation together off from right away from the team, away from the bench there, just kind of making sure they're on the same page. And Simon Edvinsson, I think, initiated that conversation from what I can tell. And I think he sensed Kosa's frustration with it, and just being able to identify that themselves and sort it out between each other and just go on and play the rest of the game very well. It's good to see the boys being able to identify those things and not have to have a coach point it out. That really tells me that they're finally really have come together as a team, and they understand each other and know how things need to be handled. And it was good. It's just good to see a younger guy like Simon take another younger guy like Kosa aside and be able to have that conversation and identify a problem.
yeah, I mean, it's all 3 goals I felt like were screened. Kosa was screened. They were just shots off the face-off that got slipped past him. I mean, there wasn't really much play developed. There wasn't much anything there. So I don't know if it's something that the Moose had like strategized of, hey, these are some set pieces. We've kind of noticed this or that, and let's try to take advantage of these situations. But I mean, Kosa played a great game. Did well in the overtime. Did well in the shootout. Him going to Simon. I mean, Simon's been here for 2 years. I think a lot of people do look up to Simon as a leader based off of his, potential in his draft pick, and he's like running the defense, like he's the number 1 defenseman. Uh, I mean, up there with Albert. Not to take anything away from Albert, but I think a lot of people look at Simon as the leader of the defense for the Griffins, and so for our 2 big guys to come together, figure it out, not having a coach and come having that talk, Brandon. I mean, I think that's a good point. So, and it seemed like that was after the 3rd goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was after Lambert's power play goal. They had that because Simon was on the ice for Hainola's goal and Lambert's goal there in front of Coast, and those were the Manitoba 2nd and 3rd goals. But we'll say that Simon was on the ice for those 2 goals. It should be pointed out that Simon was also on the ice for all 3 Griffins goals in this game. So
yeah, so it's all about balance, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the other thing too I mentioned is like you kind of run into that issue when you draft such big defensemen and big players. Like at some point they're going to be used to screen your goalie, and so you need to draft bigger goalies.
I don't think we can find a much bigger goalie than Sebastian Kosa, buddy. He's a giant.
Maybe we need smaller goalies. Like a running back and offensive line. Maybe that's the key here. I don't know, but it's bound to happen. It's bad luck. I mean, for us to beat the Moose 4 times in a row is pretty tough. To beat anybody 4 times in a row is pretty tough. So for us to end the weekend with the split, it's not bad, especially having the overtime. We get the point. And I mean, the worst case scenario is if we don't get any points out of this game.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. We took 3 points out of the possible 4 this weekend. That's a super positive for us. We're still tied for 2nd with Texas. They had an interesting weekend themselves. no one's catching Milwaukee right now as they're on their 14-game win streak. Absolutely insane. Like, again, we're not fans of them by any means because they're in our division, but you can't shy away from being like, holy crap, they're doing something absolutely incredible right now. And it's split between the goalies. It's not even the same goalie just riding the hot hand. They're both playing incredible. So it's an entire team thing. But for the Griffins to come out of this weekend still tied for second, this was a weekend that we knew was going to be tough, and we have a tough stretch coming up here. We have a game on the road on Tuesday in Cleveland because we love playing on Tuesdays in Cleveland against a really good Monsters team. It's going to be another tough game here. It's a short turnaround for the boys, so we'll be covering that one, and hopefully we'll see some good results out of that. And then we got Cleveland back home here on Friday, so that's exciting for us, and we'll be at that game hopefully, and it'll be a good time. But anything else you want to take away from this weekend before we hit the ad break?
The remarkable play from Bergen
Oh,
in overtime. We haven't brought it up yet, but they lose the face-off. Oh, no, they won the face-off. No, they lost the face-off.
Nope. They won the face-off, but Manitoba pressured and was able to take it away instantly.
And he dives to save that one, gets back up in the offensive zone and skates so hard back because it's a 2-on-1 at this point. And it's 3-on-3 overtime, 2-on-1 going the other way. Bergie is just flying to get back, and it's literally an open net. And he dives and saves this puck from going into the net to force the shootout. I mean, everybody, can get on Bergie about his defensive play and whatnot throughout the year. And I clipped it. I said, and they say he doesn't play defense, but I mean, he dove twice to save this in overtime to keep possession. The last dive was huge to save, but the first one goes unrecognized too. So like he had to literally get up off of all fours and get back to going full speed while these other guys are already on their feet and going. Like there's just the speed that he showed there to save the game. Like I think that was huge for him. I don't know who else was out there with him. I can't remember the other.
So with that play, when Manitoba broke in, it was Ford and VL breaking in on Edmondson. He was the only guy back. Edmondson did a really nice play to turn around and try to break up the pass, but he did miss. Coast makes the first initial save, and it was a great save by Coast. But the puck ends up landing right on VL's stick, and Bergie, man, just comes sliding in, dive, stick hits the puck, doesn't take down the player, so no tripping, no penalty shot, none of that mess. And and then that net was wide open, and he makes that play. It was I couldn't believe it. Once I saw that it was Bergie when he got up, I was like, the kid can do it all. He truly can. But like you said, him getting back to make that play, it was unbelievable. I don't know how I forgot to talk about that, even though we said we were going to talk about it. But
play of the game, I would say.
Might be the save of the year.
Save, yeah. Well, between that and Marco's save.
Yeah. We've had some big saves from those guys. So, yeah, Bergie, unreal weekend. Just the team, really unreal weekend. I know they hated losing that game on Saturday, but from our perspective and from a fan perspective, you're still on a 9-game point streak. You haven't lost in the regulation in 9 games. Yeah, the 7-game win streak ended, but hey, you get to go on the road maybe to extend the road streak to 7. So
yeah,
we can still keep another streak going there too. They're just playing such good hockey right now, man. I hope the boys feel good. And I can tell the confidence is there, the swagger's there. They're having fun. And that's what's key. Like, I remember back to the 2013, 2017 teams, like this time of year, they weren't panicking about the stats and where they were in the division. They were out there just playing the game that they want to play, controlling it, and having fun. Those teams were known for having some characters and some fun guys on them, and I think we got the same thing this year.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. It was a good weekend.
It was. All right, so now we're going to meet our obligations with DraftKings and send it over to them. And then when we come back, we'll have Mr. Amadeus Lombardi for everyone to hear from here. And what a fun interview this was. This kid is so much fun to talk to. Incredibly genuine, nice guy. So enjoy that interview. And Nick, go read the ad.
Looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58? DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. Currently, the Kansas City Chiefs money line is plus 105, so if you bet $5, you could win $10.25. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code THPN. New customers can bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58 with code THPN. The crowd is yours. Problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER 800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467369. In Connecticut, help people for problem gambling, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Will Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. cdkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
All right, everyone, welcome back, and we have a treat for you. Joining us today is Detroit Red Wings 2022 fourth-round draft pick, drafted 113th overall. He still holds the records for most points in a single regular season for the Flint Firebirds in the OHL. He might be the fastest man I've ever seen hit the ice, and watch out because 9 times out of 10, he's going to take the puck away from you and go the other way. Welcome to the Hockeytown West podcast and Grand Rapids Griffins Center Amadeus Lombardi. Amadeus, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday, man. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be on here.
Good, good. Well, you're taking time out of your Super Bowl Sunday, too. I don't know if you guys have anything going on. You know, you're joining us today. Who are you rooting for?
Probably San Francisco, I think. Everyone, I'm not a big football guy. I don't really watch a ton of football, but I feel like most of the people are rooting for San Francisco. I feel like I don't know. I think they're the underdog. They might not be, but I'm pretty sure they're the underdog. So, yeah, I'll go for that.
This will come out tomorrow. So if you want to change your answer and we can edit it, we can do that.
No, it's good. I'll stick with San Francisco.
Yeah, that works. Are you guys in the team doing anything special for it?
Yeah, we're going to get together, I think, around the time for it. So, should be pretty fun. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it was a fun weekend this weekend, man, against the Moose. It was a battle both Friday and Saturday. You guys took away, 3 of 4 possible points, which in our eyes is a good weekend there. How tough was it getting back into action after that 12-day break, though?
Honestly, it was kind of nice. You get to go. I went home for All-Star break, so you get to go home, kind of reset your mind, see some family, see some people that you've missed, stuff like that. So it's kind of like a good reset. And then we came back here Wednesday, had 2 pretty hard practices, and then we were ready to go for the weekend. So I thought the All-Star break was a nice touch for sure.
Yeah, it looked like Waddy had you guys pretty prepped and ready to go. A lot of those breaks you see guys come back and it looks like they're getting the rust off, but you guys were ready to roll right away in the first period on Friday.
Yeah, it was fun. It was nice. Like, you almost kind of miss it after a few days of being away and not playing games. Like, I hate playing a game Saturday and then I have to wait till Friday to play. Like, drives me nuts. So it was nice to be back and play some games.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, Friday was your first shootout attempt, right? In the the AHL?
Yeah.
You pulled off the craziest move. What was going through your head skating in on Milicic with the crowd?
Yeah, it was, I wasn't expecting to go that early, honestly. But I don't know if it was that crazy a move. It was okay, but I came in, I was a little cold. But I just had a feeling that I was going to put that one in. I think I had some composure. And originally when I was coming down the left side, I wanted to kind of like hold it and kind of just like flick it over his shoulder. But he came out really aggressive. So I knew there'd be, a little bit of space to tuck it around him, and then it ended up sliding in, and I was pretty relieved when it went in. So a little bit of lucky, but okay.
Do you have like 2 or 3 different moves, or do you have like when you're going through, like what do you have planned, I guess, or do you just kind of like read it and go?
Just depends. Like usually I have a few moves that I'm definitely like that I always fall back on, but I also like to feel it out. I like to feel how the goalie's moving. I feel like if you have a move that you're gonna do going in, like if it's not there, you're gonna overthink yourself. So you just have to read off the goalie. Cause I had no clue I was gonna do that move. I just did it. I just did it. Like originally I was gonna go the other way, but he just can't. He was just more aggressive than I thought. So yeah,
it worked out. I mean, it was good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, he's a pretty aggressive goalie for sure.
Yeah.
So A lot has changed for this team since the Christmas break. I mean, you guys are on an absolute tear. I mean, we all kind of saw it coming. You know, we talk about you guys twice a week, and we're sitting here going, the team's going to take time to gel. They're going to get things together, and they're going to go on a run, and that's what you guys obviously have done. But what do you personally think has changed for yourself and the team since that Christmas break there?
I think you guys kind of nailed it right on the head there. We've been coming together a lot more as a group, just gelling, starting to play for each other. You know, I feel like some of the younger guys are starting to get more confident, myself included. You know, I'm not as nervous on the ice when I'm going into games. I'm starting to, you know, maybe not fully like swagger yet, but you know, you're starting to feel yourself, feeling comfortable making plays. And I think for a lot of guys, that's what they're feeling as well right now. And when you're winning, it's a way better atmosphere coming to the rink, seeing all like it's just better. So we're going to keep this thing rolling, and I think we even got another step that we can take, and I know the guys think that as well.
I mean, you mentioned swagger. It's hard to say that and not mention Berggren. Like, he's got a whole new swagger about him. It feels like he's 100%. Been extremely fun to watch over the past few weeks, and getting himself into some stuff maybe he shouldn't, but at the same time, he's having a good time.
Yeah, 100%. He's a character. He's a pretty funny guy, and I just love his poise with the puck, his patience with the puck. He never fully panics, and you know, it's a really good trait that he has to his game. I think it's one of the best parts of his game is his composure with the puck, his patience.
Oh yeah. So I want to go back a little bit. Is you came from the my hometown team, the Flint Firebirds. Back when I was there, we were the Generals. So and you tore it up all last season. Like if the Griffins weren't playing on the weekend, I was driving back to Flint to be able to watch you guys. Like literally, if there was downtime, I was back out there. Which it kind of sounds like you've been doing the same thing. We know during the All-Star break you were down there. You know, kind of talk about your time in Flint and like what was it playing with the Birds?
Yeah, I only played 2 years there just because I was a late draft pick to the O and then COVID. So I only played my 18 and 19-year-old season, but man, I love that place. I had such great billets that I still keep in contact with all the time. The teammates that I had my first year, you know, some of the older guys were so good to me and developed kind of like a brotherhood, helped me so much. And then my second year was like, I was only in my second year, but there was a couple guys that I felt like I took under my wing a little bit, and that was really good too. And I still text them all the time now. I still go see them, all the guys now, and I know it's a different team, but the core is there. And, you know, I love those guys. And yeah, I've only been to 2 games this year, which less than I've wanted to be, especially being like this close. It's only like about an hour and a half. It's just, we've been on the road so much. So definitely the more time we're at home, the more I'm going to go there. And yeah, I'm really excited. I love being there. The last time I was there, I was talking to some of the coaches, and they were like, yeah, like we called Detroit at the deadline to see, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I think it's fine. They're like, we called Detroit. They're like, we called Detroit at the deadline to see like, hey, is Daniel coming back? And they're like, no. So would have been, yeah, I don't know. It's cool though. I really like that place.
It's an incredible place, man. I got to experience it for my first time last season, and it was unbelievable. And that was the Game 6 playoff game where you guys forced the Game 7 and Sac.
Yeah,
that ending there was just wild.
Yeah, even that was a crazy playoff series. That was a fun series to play in. It sucks that we didn't come out on top. I really thought we should have. I thought we deserved it. I thought we would have done well in the second round, but it's okay. That one was a hard, tough pill to swallow for sure, especially after coming back in Game 7 like that.
Yeah. And we watched it. Like I think we had purchased the playoff round. So we were here at home, like watching it. I was literally screaming on my TV. I lost my voice because I was so into it. And just the style of play that you guys played last year was so exciting to watch. And I'm like, okay, I'm like super more involved than anything before. So to pay for OHL, like you're going that next step. So, who are you still connected to in Flint? You said you're still texting people, like you're still connected. Like, is there
a bunch of guys? Well, like, you know, guys throughout the league. So, like, I mean, obviously, I played at the beginning of the year. the team was relatively the same. I still guys like Gavin Hayes who got traded, Kressler, Giroux, all those guys kind of got dealt. Like I talked to those guys I played with them for 2 years. So, and then, those guys are gone, but then new guys come in, you meet them, you talk to them. But, last year there was a couple rookies, Matthew Jenkin and Nathan Aspinall, who I really kind of got close with. I felt like I took them under my wing a little bit, and they're great guys. They're both giants, so they make me look really tiny, and I don't love that part of it, but I love going down to see them and the rest of the team and the staff and stuff. It's really nice. It kind of brings me back down to earth, and it's an awesome place, awesome atmosphere, and the fans are amazing. So I have a lot of love for that place for sure.
Yeah, it's a special place. So we listened to the Carter Mazur interview that he did with the Wing Wheel podcast, boys, and he said one of his favorite memories was assisting on your first professional goal. It got us thinking, what was your favorite moment in Flint, and what's your favorite moment in Grand Rapids so far?
That's awesome that he said that. He's my roommate. He's in the room right here. So, yeah, he's a great guy. I'll get to. We've been cooking a lot lately, so I'll get to that later. But I'd say my favorite memory in Flint, there were so many. From my first year, winning going to the Eastern Conference Finals, or the Western Conference Finals, sorry, being that close to within a finals, that group got so tightly knit, and being able to experience that playoff, compete level and distance that we went, that was really cool, and it was bittersweet, but that was awesome winning those 2 series against some pretty good teams. And then for my second year, I think that we had a game in Kitchener where we kind of went in. There was 3 teams that were all on the cusp of 5th place to finish the year. There was 2 games left in the season. We went into the last weekend, and Kitchener, whoever won this game, was clinched 5th place. So we were down 5-2 with 3 minutes left. We came back. We won in overtime. That was just, the bus ride home was insane. In the room after was crazy. I had all my family and friends there, all my childhood friends. It was so cool. So those are definitely my top 2 in Flint. And then in Grand Rapids this year, it's tough to say. One, I would say. Ooh, you guys are putting me on the spot. Because there hasn't been. I'm a big I like the playoff wins and the big team wins, those big moments. I want to say, maybe I'll say an off ice one. We had at the start of the year, we had the little Halloween party. So me and Maze are dressed up as a couple skeletons. Whatever, it was a stupid costume, but we all had this Halloween party, and at that time of the year I was really still in my shell. I wasn't really talking to anybody. I was kind of quiet, a little bit shy. And then that night, we all I feel like we came together as a group. A lot of the guys started talking to me, bringing me under their wing, and that just gave me confidence on the ice, believe it or not, because I felt a part of the group. I felt like everybody took me in, and that was a really cool experience. And then another one was probably when Maze came back from injury. We played 3 games together, and it was pretty fun playing with him. We had some good chemistry on the ice. I felt like we were always in the ozone, buzzing around, making plays and stuff. And we were good on the bench communicating. So that was definitely fun. And I didn't get an assist on his first goal this year. I know he scored last year, but me, him, and Elmer on Elmer's first goal, we all connected, and that was a pretty good one. So say that as well.
Yeah, I remember that Kitchener game really well, actually, that you were talking about for Flint.
Yeah.
Because I think we were watching, you had Griffins on one screen, Red Wings on one screen, and you guys on another. And Red Wings and Griffins had a rough night that night, and I'm looking over at your guys' score, and I was like, uh-oh. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, what is happening? This is incredible. And, oh, dude. Wow.
We had an empty net pulled for, I think, 3 minutes.
Yeah, it was insane.
Well, insane. It was they made it 5-2 with 5 minutes left, and then, or maybe even less, 4 minutes left, and then we scored a goal to make it 5-3 with 3 minutes left, and then we had the goalie pulled for the rest of the game. It was
a fun one.
The
That
O is
was
always so crazy like that, though. It's like the goals come in spurts, like it's all or nothing
yeah,
kind of thing.
that was
Sometimes.
that was such a fun game. And the last goal we scored, they reviewed it too. The time we tied it with like 15 seconds left, and they reviewed it because there might have been goal interference. There wasn't, but they reviewed it. So like we were all so nervous. They had a couple times they iced the puck and it went just by our net, or they had one where we turned it over at the blue line. They came in on a 2-on-1 empty net. Somehow we got back, whacked it in the air. Like it was just
Chaos
a
hockey.
crazy game. Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now that you're kind of acclimated to Grand Rapids, I would say.
Yeah.
You've been here for a few months now. What are your favorite spots in Flint and in Grand Rapids to go to do when you're not in the ice? You're not on the ice.
Yeah. Oof. I don't know. I like being on the ice quite a bit. I'll say for Grand Rapids, probably there's a ton of good like food spots that I really like too. I took my parents to the Chop House after one of my games, and that was a really nice night when my parents came to visit me. So there's a lot of good restaurants I like to go here, and I have Kilwins right outside my building, which is really good ice cream. So, but I haven't really done too much in Grand Rapids. There's a ton of stuff that I want to do more. And then in Flint, there's a mall in Troy, about like 35 minutes away. It's a pretty nice mall. They got some nice stuff. And honestly, like, I think the best part is just like hanging out with your teammates. I'm a big like homebody, so I'll have the guys over here, or I'll go hang out with some guys at their place. And even in Flint, like just getting together, I think that's like where you make the best memories.
That's good.
I like that. That's a good answer right there.
Thanks.
So as you might be able to tell behind Nick there, we're pretty big Jersey guys. I don't have them all displayed behind me like him there, but he's a big Jersey guy as well. Flint and Grand Rapids have had some crazy ones in your time.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite one so far?
Oh, I love jerseys. I love jerseys. I love like even as a kid, I used to collect jerseys. Go in the store when I was like 3 years old, start naming jerseys. But anyways, I would say my favorite from Grand Rapids this year, it has to be the red and white third jerseys we have. Like those are so crisp with the shield. Yeah. Like I want to make I don't know if I should say this out loud, but I want to make a petition to get the red and white shield, the white ones as our homes, and then do like a red version of that with the white shield as our away, and just run those. I think that would be so, and then do like the blacks as our third jerseys.
I'm so odd. Yes.
Like,
yes.
I think that would be unreal. Those jerseys I feel like I play like 10 times better when I wear those jerseys. Like there's something about it. You just feel good wearing them. I love those jerseys.
You got
not
your
that
first
I don't
point
like
in that jersey.
Did I?
Yeah.
I did.
It was the last game.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my first AHL point. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, not that I don't like the other jerseys. It's just like those ones are so crisp, and even like I like the Flying Toasters ones. I liked a lot of like the ones we have. I feel like we've gotten some pretty good jerseys. And then in Flint, I would say I love the Generals ones. Like even from both years. The first year, what was the first year? The one you have there? That's the second.
This was Giroux's from last year.
Yeah, that's last year. That's last year's one. I'm trying to think what the year before was. I think it was just like Generals down. I have a good. I don't know. The one from both years was really cool, and then we also had a Santa Claus one my first year, which was like they had like the red. We had shells too. We had the red shells with the snow things, like the snow boots and stuff like that. And then we had the Santa Claus jerseys. Those were awesome. And then I always loved like the cancer ones, like the pink ones, the purple ones. It's for obviously for a really good cause, but they're pretty nice too. You look good too. So those ones are cool.
One thing we listed. So you're a big cook. Where did that come from?
Well, I'm I'm Italian, so it's kind of big in my household. I got my mom and my nonna always. I have a pretty big family. We all kind of live together, so we have these big dinners, and it's really a part of my like core childhood and all that stuff. So I think it stems from that, and just watching my nonna and my mom always cook, making all this food for everybody and all that stuff. So I watched them growing up, and then I used to watch cooking shows for some reason when I was like 12. I don't know why I just started doing it, and then when I moved to Flint, my billets sometimes were like gone with taking their kids to hockey. They had three boys in hockey, so a lot of the time they'd buy a ton of groceries for the house, and I would just start cooking. So I started like that, cooking on my own, and I started getting pretty good. And then this year, I think I'm a pretty decent cook now. I've made some good stuff. I've had some of the guys over for a big meal. And me and Maze actually made a pretty good dinner on Thursday night. He said it was pretty good. So when we cook, he takes care of the vegetables. He's a vegetable guy. I do the meat, the pasta, or whatever, like the other two. But he takes care of the vegetable. He does a good job. So we got a good routine.
Good little partnership. What did you guys make Thursday?
So he did asparagus. He did like roasted asparagus with a little bit of Parmesan on top, I think. That's what I put on. And then I did lamb chops. So I bought 2 like full racks of lamb, like uncut, marinated them in a little bit of garlic, olive oil, balsamic for about an hour, dried them off real good, salted them. I got like a big cast iron pan. So got that full heat, seared them for like 5 minutes on each side, get them like a nice crust. And then in the pan, I go with like rosemary, thyme, garlic that I was marinating them in, and then butter. Baste it for 2 minutes, no heat. And then I put the whole cast iron pan in the oven at 450 for 10 minutes, and it's like medium rare, cut it off. And then I did mashed potatoes. So, but with the lamb, I made a chimichurri sauce. So it's pretty good. That's been my go-to the last couple of weeks. It's really good. I like making it. So yeah,
sounds incredible. Oh,
yeah. I've been cooking. I don't know.
What's your favorite thing to cook? Is it the lamb?
I think right now it's been the lamb chops. I think they've come out. I've cooked them like 4 or 5 times. They've come out perfect every time. Not that I'm tooting my horn. I'm just my own horn. I'm just saying like they've come out good. They're not that hard, but usually my go-to is like I like to get a nice, bone-in ribeye, good steak. I do the same process for the steak. I don't marinate it before. I just pat it, salt, a lot of salt for a crust. But I do the same thing with like basting it and stuff like that to like get a medium rare. And the mashed potatoes I whip them after. So like I'll boil them, start mashing them with like the butter, and then a little bit of, I do whole milk, salt, pepper, all that stuff. But then after I go in with a whipper and I whip them so they're like pretty fluffy. I don't know.
Jeez.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm prepping food, but
yeah, it takes a while. That's the thing. And that's the only thing that's hard is like, it takes a while when you want to do something nice, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, for sure. So is that like your favorite non-hockey activity, you think? Like, is there anything else you do to just completely relax and unwind after games?
I love cooking. I love music. I'm a big music fan. So I took one of my brother lent me one of his guitars. Well, they're my dad, but my dad lent them to him. He lent them to me. So I'm going to try and teach myself how to play guitar because I love music and I never play guitar. I wish I did. Never got to it. So I'm going to try and teach myself now. I played the other day and it's incredibly hard. This is going to take forever, but hopefully I get there. So that's going to be another hobby of mine for sure.
Pre-game ritual, anything you have, like any superstitions or any meal that you go to? Me and Brandon, we have one. So, go ahead.
You guys have one?
We do insomnia cookie before the game, and we sneak them in, and we have been on a crazy win streak since we've been doing this. So that is our pregame ritual right now.
I've got so many. Like my ritual and like routine legit starts like the night before, pretty much. It's like I'm not gonna start there. It's gonna take forever. But
Yeah.
it might be too much, honestly. Like I think I need to dial it back a little bit and work on it. I feel like I'm way too hyper focused on a game day. But my go-to pregame meal is usually I'll do like just like a pasta dish with like if it's sauce my mom or Nana gave to me, like in a jar. I'll either use that or I'll do like just a plain pasta with butter, like really light. And then I'll do in a bowl arugula. I'll cut up carrots down like this way, like vertically, and then cut them in half. Throw that in the oven with a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, thyme, and a little bit of brown sugar so it like caramelizes. Then I put the carrots in with the arugula. I grill chicken thighs on the cast iron pan, chop them, throw that in with the arugula and the carrots with the juice, and then I'll do a balsamic glaze on top of that. Mix it in. So I'll have like a salad portion and like the pasta portion. And then I always drink. It's gonna sound pretty gross, but every time I wake up from my pregame nap, I'll chug like a whole pint glass of. I do like water, 2 tablespoons of like pink Himalayan salt, 2 tablespoon of honey, and a full lemon squeezed. And I just drink that. So
I have to try that.
It's not good, but it makes you feel good, I guess. So yeah, those are the 2 I always kind of stick by.
You jumped into your first AHL game late last season, and it was Brian Lashoff's last career AHL game. What was that like for you, just jumping in with the team like that, and then being a part of that crazy last game for him?
It was really cool. I was pretty honestly, he was kind of intimidating. I was a little bit scared. I was a little bit scared of him when I first came in. I didn't know it was his last game either, so I didn't know until like the day of. So I came in, I practiced a couple times. It was nice to kind of get my feet wet, and see the guys and meet them and stuff. They were all really good guys, but it was just a little bit different pace, especially coming from losing. I was a little bit down from losing that playoff series, but I was excited for the game. And then I found out it was his last game, and I thought it was like a weird, not a weird dynamic, but it was like I was playing my first game, he was playing his last game, so that was kind of cool. And yeah, he's a super nice guy, and now he's a coach too. So it's really good. He's a really good coach too. He's a defensive coach, so I don't talk to him about a lot of forward stuff, but he's a really good guy, a really good coach. I think he's going to become, a really good coach as the years go on as well. And it was cool to kind of be a part of his last game as well.
How has it been with Dan Watson this first year there? How has that relationship been for you? How's he like as a coach?
Yeah, it's been really good, I think. I think there's definitely a lot of stuff I need to work on, be better at. He's a really good communicator. And so at the beginning of the year, we did these, not psychology tests, but we just filled out a Google Doc, and it came out with these like analysis, like personality quizzes, I guess, something like that. So I think that's a really good, cool trait that he has. He kind of brings that approach to it, where he says a lot that he doesn't want to be coaching players, he wants to be coaching people. And I love that trait. I love that aspect. I'm a big believer in that. So I think that has been really good. And, as a young guy, you're a little bit nervous to go talk to the coaches, just to like, not about anything, just like talk with them, ask them how you think you've been playing, stuff like that. As a young guy, you're kind of nervous to do that. So I think I'm kind of coming out of my shell more and asking some more questions, but it's been very well good.
It's good. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So one thing that we noticed, we got to go to that season ticket holder open practice, got to see you guys actually practice in person there. We noticed Josiah Didier hanging out with you a lot there. Has there been anyone on the Grand Rapids Griffins that's kind of taken you under their wing, any of the veteran players that are just kind of showing you the way of the AHL?
Oh yeah. There's Josiah Didier is obviously like such a good captain. Like he's such a good guy. So he's one for sure. He's just always like serious, but not, you know what I mean? Like he's not a guy who's going to be like joking around. You can as a captain, he's not a guy that's like joking around, telling jokes, but like he's really good to you all the time. He's always like, how you doing? Greeting you in the morning, talking to you, organizing events. But then he's also like focused, so it's a good, I like those traits about him a lot. But really the main guys, Nolan Stevens is a guy who's really taken me under his wing, talking to me about, playing wise, off ice stuff, nutrition, sleep, even like he got me into like breathing exercises and stuff before bed. So I started doing that, and that made me feel good. And even like on the ice about like protecting the puck, off puck transition, like all that kind of stuff. He's helped me a ton. He's a guy that's really taken me under his wing, and he's like a brother. Like I really look up to him. Another guy's Brogan Rafferty. He's a defenseman, so it's a little different, but he's such a funny guy. He's so easy to joke around with and talk to. He's serious when he needs to be, but he's also like extremely lighthearted, and he's an awesome family man. He's a great person. Another guy that I look up to, another like brother figure of mine. Zach Ashton Reese is another guy who's really taken me under his wing as well. He's had me over for dinner a few times. Talked to me about a lot of stuff, whether it's, again, on ice stuff, about my game, stuff like that, encouraging me. So those three have been really good to me. And that has helped me help my game a ton, just because it gives you the confidence that if your teammates believe in you, it helps so much. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Is there a lot of communication between you and the guys in Detroit? I know Draper and the other staff, they spend quite a bit of time in Grand Rapids, but has there been a lot of communication, or are you kind of just keeping your head down and just doing what you got to do here?
I think it's been good. We have like skills coaches that come in all the time. We have skating coaches that come in all the time. And then obviously, Horkov's general manager, he's around quite a bit. They're around, but they're not like, it's different. Like they're big staff, right? So it's not like with the coaches or with the skills coaches, they're not coming on the ice or anything like that. Like sometimes Cleary will come on the ice with us and stuff like that, which is nice. There's been communication, but also, I've been keeping my head down, trying to grind away, improve my game, work on things. We do video sometimes. So yeah, it's been good.
What's been the hardest adjustment? And this was a fan question too from a listener we have in Flint, but they want to know what the hardest adjustment you've had on ice and away from ice this year compared to Flint.
Yeah, there's definitely a few. I wouldn't say there's just one for both sakes. I think that on the ice, definitely the strength of the game. Last year, my second year in the OHL, it was kind of like I still wasn't like the strongest guy in the league by any means, nowhere near that. But I was strong enough to where like I could hold the guy off. I could hold the guy off with one arm. I could lean on him. I could protect the puck. I could take the puck to the net all the time. And now it's like everyone is so much stronger. Not only are they stronger, but they just seem to be like longer. Like their sticks are longer. Everyone's a good skater. So that part has been that definitely, I know it sounds cliche, but just like the strength has been a really big adjustment. Face-offs is another thing that I've been struggling with. I've been trying to work on that, get better at that, but that's been another tough aspect of it. But I think it's been improving. I think my game's been elevating. I'm trying to get better every single game. And then away from the ice, I think when I was playing the OHL, I was living with Billets, and they were amazing. They were like my family. Yeah. And I was able to see them every day, have interactions, all that kind of stuff. And now it's like you're living on your own. I'm an hour and a half further away from home, about 5.5 hours away from home, which isn't that far, but still. And then you don't have that family aspect. So I definitely have felt different with that. You feel a little bit more lonely just because you don't have that family interaction every day. So I definitely miss my family more this year. So that's been tough. But yeah, those have been definitely the top two.
The one thing we've noticed with you on ice is like you're just a takeaway king. Like I know Brandon wants to know, like, is there a stat for that? Are you guys able to see that? Because like we can't see a lot of stats on our end.
No, there hasn't. I think, honestly, like last year in the OHL, obviously I took away way more pucks. I feel like I haven't been doing it as much as I wanted to this year. Got to get back to that. But it's just harder. Guys have harder sticks. So I'm sure as I get stronger, as I get more confident, it'll come. But right now, even with my game as overall, I'm just really trying to hunker down on the little things, grow my confidence. I feel like I've been making a lot more plays lately. I feel like, for a few weeks I was playing well and just like nothing was going in, nothing was going. So hopefully that turns around now. I got a lucky goal the other day, so that helps. But I'm not even worried about points at all this year. I'm more worried about playing the right way, getting confidence under my belt, getting some trust under my belt, and taking it from there.
Put the work in, and it'll pay off.
Yeah, 100%.
And we can tell, like, we watch you, and you play so well. So we
Thank
know
you.
the points will start coming through for you.
Yeah.
And you'll be back up to like what you had in Flint. Like, we know it, we can see it. So
I hope so. So. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think you gotta give yourself more credit on the takeaways too. I think you're averaging like
buddy.
2 or 3 a shift. It's insane. Like when I sit there watching, I'm like, how did he come up with the puck? Where what? It's crazy.
Good.
So, a teammate question for you here. This is a fun one here. So a guy that's been turning it on a lot lately is Sebastian Kosa. I mean, like everyone's talking about him heating up. What's he like as a teammate in person? And we know goalies are strange people. Is he as weird as Alex Lyon comes off in Detroit? Because he seems like an absolute character.
Kosa is probably, he's one of the funniest guys on our team. He's always like, I don't know, he's got this like big body and he dances around when music comes on. It's pretty funny. He's actually got some good moves. He's got some flair. So he's hilarious. He's always like joking around, super lighthearted. Really, really good guy. Always pumps you up. I love Kos. He's hilarious. So I love hanging out with him, spending time with him. And he's a great guy, has an amazing personality. So he's going to do really well too. You can just tell, like, starting to come in his own. He's been playing some really, really good hockey. So it's only a matter of time for him, I think.
On the athletic side too, he's just a freak when it comes to that. He's so athletic as a goalie. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And another guy, a guy that we don't think gets enough recognition on this team, because I think he's under somebody's shadow, literally, is Albert Johansson. He's an incredible defenseman. And what's he like as a teammate in person? And for us, we always make the joke about it. We don't see him smile often. Is he really grumpy, or is that just his personality?
I went to dinner with him last night, actually, after the game.
Oh, nice.
He's probably, I think he's one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. Like, I think he's so good. You look at like he's always solid both ends of the puck. I even think in the ozone, like sometimes I tell him, like, man, like, go for it more. Like, you got so much skill. You're so good. Like, I feel like he holds back a little bit sometimes in the ozone, but I mean, he's a defenseman. Sometimes you got to play it safe, but still, he's so good. So good. I think it's only a matter of time for him as well. Before he makes that jump. I'm not going to make any assumptions or jinx anything like that, but I just think, he's a great player. He's a great person as well. He's a funny guy too. Bit of a jokester as well. So we got a lot of jokesters on our team. It's pretty funny.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the offensive side, you're right too. Like that goal he pulled off against Belleville last weekend. Oh my God. That backhander was disgusting.
He's got some silky hands, that's for sure.
I think we got 2 more questions for you, Amo.
Yeah.
So I was going back to some of your interviews, and one interview question that I found was from Helen St. James back at the dev camp. She asked you and Shai Buyam how you guys were sleeping, and you both were like, can you kind of reword the question? So like, it made me laugh. Like, what is the craziest, weirdest question you've been asked? And you can't use any from today.
No, I wasn't. But I don't know the weirdest question I've been asked. I'm trying to think. I feel like my interview skills have gotten better like every year. Just, you become more articulate, you become more confident. You speak, like, when you speak with confidence, people can kind of feel that. You can read off it. So they've obviously gotten better. They're still not great, but I don't know the weirdest question I've been asked. It's got to be, I'm sure there's one out there for sure, but I'm kind of blanking right now. It's probably one. I guarantee you, it's one where it's like you're on the road and you do an interview in between periods in the OHL or something like that. I think there was one. Yeah, man, I'm blanking right now on that.
That's
They're all
okay.
kind of. A lot of them are similar. Like
Yeah.
I try and not give cliche answers, but sometimes it's so hard not to. Because it's the truth.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
get
try and
that.
like switch it up a little bit, but it's hard.
Yeah, that's like we were prepping up for this, and I'm like, I don't want to ask him the same question that he's been
Yeah.
asked 1,003 times.
No, they've
So-
been good questions. I gotta say, they
we
haven't
appreciate
been.
that.
Don't worry. Yeah.
We appreciate that. All right, Nick, I think you got the last one there, sir.
All right. So, last question for you. Do you love to
Yeah.
win or do you hate to lose?
I think they go hand in hand, right? Like, I think they go hand in hand. I love winning, but I like in the same breath, I hate losing. Like, yesterday I was so pissed off after the
Gosh.
game, just because, especially because I missed my shootout attempt as well, and then like if I score that, they save it, we win. I know it could have gone that like that for anyone, but like that's what I'm in control of, and like it was driving me nuts. I was thinking about every little play all night long. I couldn't. It was driving me crazy. So definitely both. But yeah, I hate losing. It drives me nuts in anything. So
Super competitive. I'm a big Brandon got me on Letterkenny, and then I just finished Shoresy, and that's one of the big questions throughout the so I was like, this would be great to ask Amo.
yeah, I never got into that. I know that show. I just never got into it.
It's
Too.
wild.
It's
It's
too
wild.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, don't beat yourself up about last night, man. It is what it is, right? And I think your shootout attempt was good. I think the ice looked a little choppy in front of Milich there
Yeah.
too for you guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I could have done a lot better with that attempt. I'm pretty pissed off at myself for that. I just
Hey, you're 50% in the AHL in the shootout. That's a pretty good record, right
yeah,
there.
I've only taken
That way.
two though. I've only taken two. Yeah, I don't know. So you never know. You never know when you're gonna get another chance, right? So that's what drives me crazy. Is like, Anyways,
It's got to
figure
be
it out.
hard too going against the same goalie and the same shooters back-to-back nights too, though.
Yeah, I honestly like. He played it pretty well, but I should have come in. I had a move in mind, and I should have done it, but it's okay.
Good.
Maybe you guys
Oh,
will see
good.
it one day.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure there'll be more opportunities. Don't you worry, man. Well,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
we'll let you get back to your Sunday. Thank you again so much for taking
Yeah,
time out of your day to do this, man. We appreciate it. And this was a fun interview for us. I hope it was for you as well.
Yeah.
Keep up the great
100%.
work, man. We look forward to seeing what you guys do this season. We know you guys are going to continue to go on a tear and just keep having fun with it, man. That's what we love to see is you guys out there having a good time. So
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. Appreciate you guys having me on as well. It was a fun time for me too. Sorry I extended you guys a little long, but hopefully
no.
we'll
it
take
went
it.
well.
We have all day ahead of us, so don't you worry. We
Nice.
still got to record the rest of the episode after this, so you are good to go, man. But no,
Awesome.
thank you again. Enjoy the game tonight, and you guys go have
Thank
a good
you.
time, and good luck on Tuesday in Cleveland.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
Thank you
Amo.
too. All right, and we are back. Thank you again to Amadeus for that interview. That was a blast for both of us. I think you could see the grin on both of our faces the entire time. Like it was such a fun thing for us to do. Thank you to the Grand Rapids Griffins for making that a reality for us. Again, we're so new to this. We didn't think that was even possible for us to pull off. I know a lot of people are just like, they're just hockey players, but for us that covers this team daily, they're important people, and we really enjoyed talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally my favorite player. Coming from the Flint Firebirds, like I told him, I drove back every weekend to be able to watch him if the Griffins aren't playing. So, for me, like I'm over the moon right now. I was excited about it. I was nervous, anxious about it, and I thought it went really well. So, hopefully, it sounds like he'd be open to more coming on again. So in the future, which I hope so, and hopefully it opens us up for other interviews with players as well. I know we're working on a few, and then some staff as well, which is going to be fun. I think that one's going to be wild. I don't even know where to start or like prep for that one.
It's going to be an interesting one, but I think my biggest takeaway from Amadeus here is one, like I've watched some of his past interviews. You know, he did a podcast interview back when he was with the Firebirds initially, and he was definitely a quieter kid. And he mentions, you know, how he came into this a little shyer, quieter. He has really grown and come out of his shell. And dude, you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. We got full recipes laid out. We know how to cook some serious chops now, man. Like it was just such a fun conversation, and I know it wasn't entirely directed about hockey, but we didn't really want it to be that too. We really wanted to get to know him as a person. I want the fans to be able to know him and understand him. He's already a fan favorite in a lot of people's eyes, and I think after this, even more, the fans are just going to love him and appreciate him. And really good insight on a lot of things when it comes to this team. You know, talking about Watson, talking about Lashoff, talking about Didier. You know, it's just all really good things, and you can just tell
Amazing.
it's a good group of guys, and of course, Mazer, his roommate there.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's just he's so genuine. He's always so nice too. And like he was trying everything to do like to help us. And like that I could feel like I mean we started on the phone and then we went right to video on the computer and like I don't know, he's just such a nice kid and just I root for him. I really want him to go to the Wings and I mean, how sick would that be, a Lombardi Detroit Red Wings jersey? I mean,
It would look sick, except he can't keep his number, so we got to figure that one out. But
yeah. I
but
I
yeah,
don't know. I'm stoked. Hopefully I mean, we're gonna see him again. We'll see him in 2 weeks for the season ticket holder event. And yeah, I mean, and he was like, I'm open all day. Like we could have continued throughout the entire time. And I was really trying to just keep it short with him and out of respect for his time. So I mean, we could have probably talked for like another 2 hours.
honestly, yeah, he was no rush. He gave us all the time in the world. You know, there's one point we asked him, we're like a half hour in, we're like, hey man, we got a few more, and he's like, all right, we're good. And hopefully I didn't cut him off in the end there, but I figured 45 minutes was a long one for him. So no, really, man, just thank you to him, thank you to the Griffins again. What a fun time for us, and we hope everyone else enjoys that one too. I know, like I said, he's a fan favorite, so everyone's gonna get to see a whole new side of him, and I really enjoyed it. Looking
And I
forward to
think
the next one and many more.
that's what we were really trying to do for the listeners too, is like we see them play, they do all these player interviews, and it's always like they get asked the same questions a lot. And so we really wanted to go a fully different way with it, is like really get to know the player and who he is and like what he does in the off season and what does he do like in between games and like what's he up to, you know? We want to be as I don't even know what I'm trying to say. They're just like we want to be more player focused, person focused. That's probably the best way to say it is we want to be more person focused. And he said that too with Wadi is he wants to coach people, not coach players. And I think that's kind of more of our thing too, is because we both come from the coaching background and it's like we want to be able to really show the true self of the players. I mean, they're more than just hockey players. I mean, they're people. And I think that really showed during Amadeus's the interview with him is that he's a person, and I could tell some of the stories he was saying like really connected with. I could see this with other players too,
Yeah.
of like the whole family bit that we did. I don't know if that'll stay in there or not, but you kind of feel for some of the former players that was here and went back overseas. I could kind of get that touch.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about as we prepped for this. We want to be a players podcast, right? We want to be someone, if they're going to come on here and interview with us, we want them to feel comfortable, safe, like they can talk about their stories and not have to worry about the tough questions that they shouldn't answer or don't want to answer. So we want it
Yeah.
to be a good time for them and have fun with it and get the best out of them just for everyone else and show what these guys are really about. And like we said before, this group of guys with this Griffins team right now are a special group of people, and just talking to him about the guys in the room, like you can really feel that.
Yeah, and
But
and we hope that comes across to everybody else too. Is like they feel a little bit more connected to the player and to the team, with this. So
yeah, now we're just gonna get people emotionally attached to him. So if anything ever happens, like a trade or something, we're gonna start breaking hearts out here, including our own. Oh God. But
jersey sales just went up for this guy.
100%, 100%.
And
But
like the other thing I want to mention too, real quick, is he played in Flint. I have a connection with a lot of people in Flint, and everything that we hear from the fans that have been able to meet him and been able to talk to him and just kind of like get that time with him, like he's the same person like that we just talked to. I mean, he's really his true, genuine self every time we see him, and he's like you could just tell like he's just a really good, genuine person. I don't know.
I really enjoyed it. It was good. I hope everyone else enjoys it too. But that's all I've got. You have anything else you want to add this week?
No, not that I can think of. I'm excited for this week of hockey. I mean, we got the Tuesday versus Cleveland, and then Friday we've got Cleveland again.
Yep.
It's Friends night, so I'm excited for that. So,
but no,
yeah.
I'm excited too. 2 big games coming up for Grand Rapids, 2 out of division games. So taking those points would be huge. So we'll see what happens there. Like we said, we'll have all the coverage on the Twitter and Facebook page for Tuesday's game. But with that, we'll wrap this Monday episode up. Thank you again to Amadeus Lombardi for taking time out of his Sunday to join us today. Thank you to the Grand Rapids Griffins for making that possible. Shout out to Hockey Podcast Network for being amazing hosts. Shout out to DraftKings for being great sponsors. And Nick, you have some Patreon people to thank.
Yeah, thank you, Michael Asante. It was nice meeting you this week on Friday. That was a surprise to me. He's coming out of the stands. So hopefully next time let's get some let's chat some more. And then we got to take Randy to the game on Friday too. So it was good to be able to chat with him. So those are our only 2 right now.
And then before we go too, make sure you head over to everythinghockey.com. Use code West, get 10% off your order. Grab yourself a hoodie, t-shirt, some drinkware that they've got, all the cool stuff. We appreciate everyone for checking us out. If again, first time with us, give us a follow, give us a like. Definitely check out all the content we'll be bringing going forward. Like we said, we have more exciting interviews planned for the rest of the season. Yep. With that, we will wrap this one up. Everybody have a wonderful week. Go Griffins, and we will talk to y'all on Thursday.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hockeytown West podcast. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at HockeytownWPod and your host, Nick at GR Hockey Guy and Brandon at Brandon GR Hockey.